Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into my official updated college football bowl predictions. I'm making a few changes after all of the opt-out situations, the coaching changes, stuff like that. I'm actually just going to rapid fire through this, go through every single bowl. Some of them did remain the same. Others changed. Let's go. Starting with the Bahamas Bowl. And guys, I still do have a very decisive UAB victory over Miami of Ohio. I do not believe there's any opt-out issues in this one. And I maintain the opinion that this game will be a very dominant win for UAB. They've been very unlucky this season. They're a lot better than 6-6, and they play in a lot tougher of a conference than Miami of Ohio. The Cure Bowl, I still have UTSA winning this game. I think their offense gets it done over Troy. This is a very hyped up bowl game, one of the top bowl games before Christmas, probably the best bowl game before Christmas, 2-11-2 teams battling it out there. Next, we have the Fenway Bowl, and honestly, guys, I think the only thing that we know for sure is you should be taking the under on this game. It's a total coin flip. It's gone to a pick'em. Those are updated odds, and I have Cincinnati winning 20-17, but that's extreme speculation at this point. Louisville without their starting quarterback, Cincinnati without their starting quarterback, and Luke Fickell, who goes to Wisconsin. So, guys, lower scoring game, 11 a.m., taking place in Massachusetts. It's going to be colder. I'll take Cincinnati, but I love the under in that one. Next, we have SMU taking on BYU, and I do like SMU to win this game. BYU's starting quarterback dealing with a little bit of an injury. SMU's been really inconsistent, but overall, guys, SMU, there's less uncertainty surrounding their team going into the bowls. Tanner Mordecai, he had a 9-touchdown game. Let's give him some respect, and let's bet on him in his bowl game against a team that's injured. Next, we have the LA Bowl, Fresno State and Washington State. So, guys, even before the Washington State opt-outs, I did have Fresno State winning this game, I think by 7 total points. And I'm really not going to change that. I still do have Fresno State by actually 6, 27-21. Fresno State now 3-point favorites. If you got, Fresno State +4 because they opened +4, that's crazy. But now with Washington State's 2 top receivers opting out of the bowl game, they're going to be clear favorites. They've played so well. I think Fresno State on the money line is a great play. The LendingTree Bowl, I did not change this prediction at all. I love Southern Miss to win this game handily. They've gone to 6.5-point favorites. There's been money that's been bet on Southern Miss in this one, and I maintain the belief that Southern Miss wins this game easily. Rice is a 5-7 bowl team. Next, we have Florida taking on Oregon State. So this is one I definitely changed. I would honestly bet on Oregon State -10. I just think Florida, this is kind of like the same situation 3 or 4 years ago, maybe 2 years ago when they played in the Cotton Bowl against Oklahoma. They just have no one playing. All of their top players are opting out. Jack Miller, the Ohio State transfer, will be starting. Oregon State, I think they're a little bit worse than their record, but still against a team that's starting new guys. Oregon State's head coach just got a new contract for 5 years. They gave him a pay raise. There's going to be motivation in that locker room. They know they're on the right path right now. They just beat Oregon in the rivalry game. They've got momentum. Florida, a 6-6 team, kind of had a lost season, and their starting quarterback, declares for the NFL draft. Next, we've got North Texas taking on Boise State, and I maintain that Boise State will win this game pretty easily. And guys, interesting on this one, a lot of money being bet on Boise State. They opened -7.5. They're -10 right now. So a lot of money is coming in on Boise State. I maintain the exact same score prediction as I had last week. Same thing with this one. I'm just going to roll through it. I think UConn's offense and how horrible it is against a good Marshall defense is a terrible mix. I have Marshall based on their last 4 performances, especially on defense, being a horrible matchup. They will shut UConn down, and I might actually be being a little bit too nice to UConn, saying they're going to score 13 points. They have a very bad offense. Do not be fooled. Their metrics are really bad. They won a bunch of close games against bad teams. I'm just being honest. They cannot throw the ball. If you look up their actual stats, Marshall is going to annihilate them. That's just my opinion. Next, we have Eastern Michigan taking on San Jose State. And I do have Eastern Michigan winning this game outright still. So San Jose State has kind of been trending down the past few weeks, at least when it comes to the end of the regular season. Although I will say there is an analytical model that I look at that has San Jose State projected to win this game by 16 points. So take that for what it will. I'm still going with Eastern Michigan because I think there's always one of these MAC upsets, guys. Let's be real. And I think it's going to be the Idaho Potato Bowl. Next, we have Toledo taking on Liberty. So this is one that I did change. I do have Toledo winning this game due to Liberty being basically a dead-in-the-water program at this point. They lose to New Mexico State in an epic beatdown when they were 24-point favorites, and then they lose Hugh Freeze right after he signed an 8-year contract extension. It is not good for Liberty football right now. Toledo wins this game even with their bad offense and a starting quarterback who has been injured. He'll get a little bit more healthy. They're going to win this game, in my opinion. Next, we have South Alabama taking on Western Kentucky. And obviously, guys, horrible matchup for Western Kentucky now with their starting quarterback in the transfer portal, possibly transferring to Louisville. South Alabama has a pretty good defense, and they're going to be facing a backup. They're going to win this game easily. I like the under. I think the under 53. Actually, I have no clue what the over-under in this, guys. Just disregard that. I just made that up. I don't know what the actual over-under is, but South Alabama against the backup quarterback is going to be, open season. I actually had Western Kentucky winning this game until it was announced that Austin Reed was going to hit the transfer portal. The Armed Forces Bowl. I maintain the idea in this one, guys, that Air Force is going to cover the 6.5-point spread. I think they lose, but I think they cover. They are a good team. They're very good, and I also do like Baylor. Baylor is better than their record. Next, we have the Independence Bowl, and I've got Houston huge over Louisiana. Houston is the exact type of team to play really well and score a ton of points during bowl season. You look at their last few weeks of the regular season, it's a vibe I'm getting from them right now, and there's a lot of money that's been placed onto Houston. They went from -3 to -6. Next, we have Missouri taking on Wake Forest. I still think Missouri wins this game in a slight upset because Wake Forest is simply an incomplete team. They can't run the ball and they can't play defense. Missouri, they're not great at anything, but they can play defense good enough to get this win and really be motivated for that game. The Hawai'i Bowl, the Christmas Eve game, very low scoring. I have the exact same position as I had last week. Lowest scoring game of the bowl season. Lowest scoring game. Surprisingly, even lower scoring than Iowa, Kentucky. How about that bold prediction right there? But I do have San Diego State winning in that one. New Mexico State taking on Bowling Green. And I do have Bowling Green by 10. I've changed this prediction because of the news of New Mexico State's quarterback entering the transfer portal. He will not be playing. Georgia Southern and Buffalo. Love Georgia Southern. Love the over in this game. It's a revenge game for Georgia Southern's quarterback, and I'm actually being really nice predicting Buffalo to score that much. I think they might only score like 24 points. Even though Georgia Southern has a horrible defense. Guys, I was looking up defensive metric rankings. Georgia Southern is terrible on defense. They're like bottom 5, but they have such an explosive offense, and Buffalo has been terrible, especially the last few weeks of the regular season. Next, we have Utah State and Memphis. Utah State is quite simply one of the worst teams in the bowl season. I've got Memphis. Even though they are inconsistent, they can be explosive on offense at times. They will win that game easily, in my opinion. East Carolina taking on Coastal Carolina. I have East Carolina winning this game. Both of these teams really hard to gauge. If there is one game I would say stay away from, it's this game. I'm not interested in trying to predict what type of East Carolina team shows up after the egg they laid against Houston at the end of the regular season. And then Coastal Carolina, Grayson McCall, how injured is he? I'm just not interested in betting in that game. Next, we have Oklahoma State taking on Wisconsin. Lower scoring game. Wisconsin has a lot more program momentum with Luke Fickell. Even though both of the starting quarterbacks in this game are in the transfer portal, I think Wisconsin covers the spread fairly easily. It's a late night game. There's not going to be a lot of scoring, guys. I will take Wisconsin in that one. Next, we have Duke and UCF. And I am still rolling with UCF, even though all of the money is coming in on Duke. They've gone to a 1-point favorite. Give me UCF as long as Plumlee plays. They're just simply the better team. Kansas taking on Arkansas. I do still have Kansas winning this game just because I feel like they're going to be really motivated in bowl season. Although I will say with KJ Jefferson back for Arkansas, there's a lot of momentum within that program. Kansas has a horrible defense. I'll tell you this, I love the over in this game just in general. Really don't love Kansas +3 because I just don't trust their defense. But I figured it would be a little fun to predict them to win. We've got North Carolina taking on Oregon. So Josh Downs is out. I think Oregon wins this game easily. Oregon, quite frankly, should be in a lot better of a bowl than the Holiday Bowl. This is a byproduct of other Pac-12 teams being really good and nobody from the Pac-12 making the playoffs. So there's kind of a congestion within the Pac-12 in terms of the overall bowls. The Texas Bowl, Texas Tech, and Ole Miss. I still think Ole Miss covers this spread. I just think they're 7 points better than Texas Tech. They've got more talent. That's just my opinion based on how Texas Tech played at the end of the season. Syracuse and Minnesota. Syracuse is dead in the water at this point. Minnesota, even though they can't throw, it's going to be a lower scoring game. The Pinstripe Bowl. It's going to be cold, but I am taking Minnesota to cover that spread. Oklahoma and FSU, this is a higher scoring game. This is a fun one. FSU, I trust them to win and cover, and I also love the over in this game based on how Oklahoma was playing at the end of the regular season. Although I do think Oklahoma might have 1 or 2 opt-outs. I don't know if Marvin Mims is playing in this game. Next, we have Texas and Washington. Bijan Robinson is out, but I am still picking Texas to win this game. It feels like the coming out party for Quinn Ewers going into his junior season next year. So I think they win this game, but I would take Washington to cover the spread, and it is going to be a higher scoring game. Washington has a really fun offense. Next, we have Maryland taking on NC State. And guys, I still have NC State winning this game. They're the more complete team. They're the better team on defense. I understand they're starting their 4th string quarterback. That's not a good look, but I still think they pull this game out. They've shown in the past the ability to win with a backup quarterback, so I think they win that one. Pittsburgh and UCLA, the battle of the cursive. I think UCLA crushes Pitt with their starting quarterback in the portal. UCLA with DTR his last game. They're going to want to put on a show, and Chip Kelly will score 40+ in that bowl game. South Carolina and Notre Dame. So Notre Dame down to a 2-point favorite. I actually still am rolling with Notre Dame in this one. It's very hard. Notre Dame's best pass rusher has opted out. Notre Dame's best tight end, one of the best tight ends in the entire country, has opted out. And South Carolina has so much momentum. So guys, honestly, if I would recommend a bet, I would probably say take South Carolina on the money line. I mean, I'm still rolling with Notre Dame because I think they're more complete, but it's just tough with the opt-outs. Next, Wyoming and Ohio. Guys, I still love Wyoming to win this game outright, and I love the under because Ohio's quarterback situation and how they played in the MAC championship game, and also every Wyoming game seems to go under. The Orange Bowl, this is the first New Year's 6 game, and I still do like Clemson facing Joe Milton, the backup quarterback for Tennessee, facing that bad defense that gave up 63 points to South Carolina. I still like Clemson coming off that big ACC championship win led by their true freshman quarterback to win this game by 7 points. Next, we have Iowa and Kentucky. And without Will Levis, I think Iowa wins this game. It's going to be very low scoring. Obviously, we all know that. I might actually have to lower my prediction to 16-13. But either way, I do have Iowa winning this game. They win games like that for sure. Next, we have the Sugar Bowl, Kansas State and Alabama. Bryce Young, very likely not going to play. I don't know if it's official yet. Will Anderson as well. But I still think there's kind of a narrative that Alabama's going to lose this game. And I think Alabama's backup dual threat quarterback, Jalen Milroe, is going to do enough there for Bama to win. They're still going to have the talent advantage. It might be similar to the Ohio State-Utah game last year, although Ohio State's starting quarterback did play in that game, C.J. Stroud. Bryce Young will not be playing. So, I don't know. I just think Alabama has more talent, and there's this narrative that they're going to lose this game, and it just feels like Nick Saban's going to get this one. Although I will say Kansas State's going to be so much more motivated. That is true. Next, we have TCU and Michigan. So, some interesting line movement on this game. A lot of people betting on TCU. Michigan went from 9.5-point favorites to 7.5-point favorites basically overnight. And I've updated my prediction. I'm starting to really have more respect for TCU, and I think it's going to be a closer game. I have Michigan winning 30-24 with TCU covering. Next, we have Ohio State and Georgia. And when it comes to this game, guys, you can make a case that this is possible. Obviously, a lot would have to go right for Ohio State without JSN, but this is a situation where I gotta roll with the Buckeyes because it just feels like you look at Georgia, you look how they played against LSU, and they gave up all those passing yards. They can be, had on the defensive side of the ball. In actuality, guys, I'm probably just going down with the ship on this prediction, so I'm just going to pick Ohio State. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I don't really care. But yes, pretty much all the analytics will say Georgia is going to win this game. The one other factoid I will give people, Ohio State, as an underdog in their last 10 games is 10-2 head-to-head. So not only are they covering, but they're winning the game outright. So that is an interesting thing to look at. I'm just saying. So I do have Ohio State winning this game because Georgia's pass defense, has not been up to par this season. Next, we have Mississippi State taking on Illinois. Obviously, the Mike Leach situation, I wonder if this game will even be played, honestly. So, who knows? But that would be really sad, just all around for Illinois, for Mississippi State. But I think Illinois is the better team overall. They win this game 27-24. Purdue and LSU. So, I loved Purdue. I loved LSU -7. But the line is just ballooned because Purdue lost their head coach. So I don't even know if there's value in LSU -11.5. Maybe there still is. Maybe LSU is just going to crush Purdue. That was my original thought. But I don't know, guys. It's a big line right now. The Cotton Bowl, Tulane versus USC. I was going to change my pick here to USC, but I think I'm going to keep it. I'm going to keep it on Tulane. They're going to be way more motivated. USC probably going to be without Jordan Addison. He's going to opt out and prepare for the draft. Even though Caleb Williams wins the Heisman, I think Tulane, being more motivated, wins that game. And then finally, we do have the Rose Bowl. This is always a really fun game. I am going to go with Utah to win it in a close one. 31-28 with the over. I think it's over 52 hitting in that one. Penn State dealing with some opt-outs. So, guys, that is my updated bowl predictions with all of the opt-out situations up until this point. So make sure you follow me on Twitter. Link to that's always in the description. I'm, of course, the Depressed Ginger. Thank you for watching.